When the sun goes down, you're going to flip a switch. Light will flood the room and you won't think twice about it. But for almost all of human history, that switch didn't exist. When the sun set, the world went dark, not dim, not dusky, dark. The kind of darkness where you couldn't even see your own hand in front of your face. Modern humans almost never experience it. Yet for more than 300,000 years, every one of your ancestors spent roughly half their life inside that darkness. No candles for most of that time, no lanterns, no light switch, just the stars above and whatever fire they could keep alive. So what did they do with all those hours? The answer changes the way we think about sleep, storytelling, and even what it means to be human. Start with fire, because without fire, none of this would have been possible. The earliest strong evidence of humans controlling fire comes from Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa, roughly 1 million years ago. But fire didn't just keep people warm, it rewrote the human day. Before fire, our ancestors lived much like every other primate. When the sun went down, they climbed a tree or found shelter and stayed completely still. Moving through the darkness meant risking your life. Compared with the predators hunting them, leopards, hyenas and wolves, human night vision was hopeless. Fire changed that. A campfire created one of the safest places our ancestors could be. Most predators kept their distance, and stepping beyond the firelight meant taking a far greater risk. But protection wasn't fire's greatest gift. Time. Before fire, the useful day ended at sunset. Fire stretched it by another 2 to 4 hours. Those extra hours helped shape our species. In 2014, anthropologist Polly Wiesner published a landmark study. She spent years recording conversations among the Yuhuansi Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert, one of the last groups on Earth still living something close to humanity's original way of life. What she found surprised even researchers. During the day, about 80% of conversations were practical. Who's hunting? Which plants are ready? Logistics, complaints, negotiations. Daytime conversation was about survival. But after sunset, everything changed. Around 81% of conversations became stories, adventures, myths, people in distant places, jokes that made the whole camp laugh. Wiesner argued that conversations around the fire were where human culture flourished. The campfire was the original theater, the original classroom, the original church. For the first time, people weren't just surviving the day. They were making sense of it. They imagined places they'd never seen, people they'd never met, futures that didn't yet exist. Around a fire, humanity practiced something no other animal could, sharing imagined worlds. In many ways, that's what every book, every movie, every religion, and every civilization still begins with: someone telling a story. But stories weren't the darkness's only gift. It also changed the way humans slept, and almost everything you believe about sleep is surprisingly new. In 2001, historian Roger E. Kirch published a paper that changed the study of sleep. He had spent 16 years searching through historical records. What he found was astonishing. More than 500 references spanning centuries. Prayer books, court records, medical texts, private diaries, letters from ordinary people, even Homer's Odyssey. They all described the same thing. First sleep, second sleep. Before the industrial age, people didn't sleep through the night. They went to bed shortly after sunset and slept for about 4 hours. Then they woke naturally. They stayed awake for 1 or 2 quiet hours before falling asleep again until dawn. This wasn't insomnia. It was the normal rhythm of human sleep for thousands of years. And what happened during those quiet hours? Almost everything. People prayed, wrote, reflected, interpreted their dreams while they were still vivid. Some visited neighbors. A 16th century French physician even recommended this as the ideal time for married couples to conceive children. The mind was calm. The world was silent. Historians had been reading these references for centuries, but many assumed first sleep couldn't possibly mean what it said. Then science caught up. In 1992, psychiatrist Thomas Wehr at the National Institute of Mental Health decided to test a simple question. What would happen if modern people lived without artificial light? He asked a group of volunteers to do exactly that. For 1 month, they spent 14 hours in darkness every night, much like people would have before electricity extended the evening. Within weeks, every participant settled into the same rhythm. 4 hours of sleep, 1 to 3 hours of quiet wakefulness, then 4 more hours of sleep. No one suggested it. No one trained them. In the absence of artificial light, their bodies drifted toward a pattern that had once been common. But what happened next was even more surprising. During those quiet hours, the participants weren't anxious. They weren't frustrated. They entered an unusually calm state. Vare found elevated levels of prolactin, a hormone associated with relaxation and quiet wakefulness. Many described feeling peaceful, reflective, almost meditative. It wasn't simply time spent awake. It felt like a different kind of consciousness, one that modern life rarely gives us the chance to experience. If this ancient rhythm could still emerge today, one question remained. What made it disappear? The answer was light. In the 17th century, cities began installing street lamps. Paris was among the first, under Louis XIV, in an effort to reduce crime. London soon followed. Then came cheaper candles, then gas lamps. Then, in 1879, Thomas Edison helped bring electric light into everyday life. Within a single generation, humanity's relationship with the night changed forever. Here's something most people never think about. The word curfew comes from the French couvre-feu. It literally means cover the fire. Every evening, a bell signaled people to cover or extinguish their fires. Night wasn't meant to be bright. It was meant to be dark. For most of history, darkness wasn't an inconvenience. It was simply part of being human. Today, we're surrounded by artificial light for hours after sunset. Bright, blue-rich light from phones, computers, televisions, and LED bulbs delays the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate sleep. To your brain, that light can resemble an extended day. It pushes your internal clock later. It shortens the night your body expects. And it slowly reshapes a rhythm that evolution spent hundreds of thousands of years refining. Researchers have found that spending just 1 week without artificial light shifts the body's internal clock closer to the natural rhythm of sunrise and sunset. In only 7 days, biology begins reclaiming an ancient pattern. We didn't just change when we sleep, we changed our relationship with the night. Tonight, when the sun goes down, you'll do what billions of people do every evening. You'll flip a switch. The room will fill with light. You'll keep working, keep scrolling, keep watching, and you'll probably never think about the darkness that came before it. But for almost all of human history, the most important hours of the day began after sunset. In the glow of a fire, stories became history. History became culture. Culture became civilization. In the silence between first sleep and second sleep, people reflected, dreamed, prayed, wondered. The darkness wasn't empty. It gave humanity time, imagination, reflection, and a different way of experiencing the world. We conquered the night with electricity, but in doing so, we may also have conquered something within ourselves. So tonight, before you reach for the light, take a moment, listen to the silence, look up at the sky, and remember, for more than 300,000 years, this was the world that made us.